Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Life Up Podcast. Let's start your day with positive thoughts and talks. Today, we're taking a deep dive into The Confidence Code by Katty and Claire Shipman. We'll be unpacking the key takeaways from this book to give you a clear understanding of confidence, even if you haven't read it yourself.
What's fascinating about the Confidence Code is that it moves beyond seeing confidence as some kind of innate quality. It dives into the actionable steps you can take to actually cultivate it, all while backing it up with science and real-world examples.
Our mission today is to uncover what confidence really is, why it can often feel elusive, particularly for women, and most importantly, how to build it in a lasting way.
Yeah, the book starts off strong, emphasizing that confidence is not just a feeling. It's about taking action. The authors illustrate this point with a surprising example. WNBA players.
You would think those women dominating on the court would have unshakable confidence.
Right, you'd think confidence would be second nature to them.
I know, right?
Yet many of them share the same struggles as women in other fields. Off the court, they grapple with self-doubt, overthinking, and the constant pressure to please others.
So even at the top of their game, these athletes are still battling those inner voices. What does that even tell us about confidence?
It highlights a crucial point. Women often get stuck in this cycle of overthinking and waiting for the perfect moment to act. Meanwhile, men tend to take action sooner, even if they're not fully prepared. The book suggests that this difference in approach can significantly impact confidence levels.
That's interesting. I can definitely relate to that overthinking and hesitating to take action until I feel completely ready. Do you think this is something that's hardwired in us, or is it more about societal expectations?
The book delves into both nature and nurture. It explores fascinating brain research, like the work of neuroscientist Dr. Adam Kepex. He studied how rats make decisions under uncertainty. His findings indicate that confidence is actually a calculation process in the brain based on past experiences and available information.
So confidence is like a mental algorithm. Our brains are constantly weighing the odds based on what we've learned before.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting. The book also references Dr. Daniel Amen's research using brain spectral imaging, a technique that allows us to see brain activity in real time. His studies show that women's brains tend to be more active in areas associated with worry and overthinking.
So there's actually a scientific basis for why we overthink. It's not just us being overly cautious.
It's not about being overly cautious. It's about understanding how your brain works. The key takeaway here is that while this tendency for overthinking can sometimes hold you back, it's also linked to some incredible strengths.
Okay, that's good news. So our overthinking isn't necessarily a flaw, it's just a part of how we're wired.
Right. The same brain regions that make you prone to overthinking also power your empathy, intuition, and ability to collaborate. These are powerful assets, especially when you learn to manage and leverage them effectively.
I'm starting to see how this all connects. It's not about trying to silence our overthinking brains, it's about understanding how to work with them. But what about the role our upbringing plays in all of this? Can you tell us more about the concept of the new nurture?
The new nurture examines how traditional parenting can sometimes inadvertently undermine confidence, especially in girls. It's not about a lack of love or support, but rather about overprotecting children from challenges and adversity.
So shielding kids from failure might actually do them a disservice in the long run.
Exactly. One of the most powerful examples in the book is the story of Jane Werwand, founder of Dermalogica. She shares this anecdote about how at the age of 4.5, her mother would make her find her own way home from the park.
4.5. That seems pretty young to be navigating the world alone.
It might sound extreme, but Werwand credits this early experience with instilling a profound sense of self-reliance and confidence in her own abilities.
So it's about encouraging kids to navigate their own challenges and build that resilience.
Yeah, those seemingly small struggles help them develop a sense of self-efficacy, the belief that they can handle whatever life throws their way. Think about it, if you always swoop in to solve your children's problems, they'll never learn to trust their own judgment or resourcefulness.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on parenting. So instead of shielding them from failure, we should be encouraging them to embrace those challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. But what about those of us who weren't raised with that kind of tough love approach? Can we still build that confidence later in life?
Absolutely. While your upbringing plays a part, you are not defined by your past. You can absolutely change your mindset and develop confidence through specific tools and strategies.
Okay, this is where it gets really exciting. What are some of those tools that we can start using today?
Well, they're not magic, but they are backed by research and real-world success stories. One of the most compelling strategies the book highlights is failing fast.
Failing fast. That sounds counterintuitive. Shouldn't we be trying to avoid failure at all costs?
It's not about intentionally failing. It's about shifting your perspective, embracing the idea that failure is not the end, but a valuable opportunity for growth. Take the example of Beth Wilkinson, a prominent litigator who was involved in prosecuting Timothy McVeigh.
Okay, I remember hearing about her. She's known for being a brilliant legal mind.
Exactly. She shares an experience of a significant early courtroom failure. Instead of letting it derail her, she analyzed what went wrong, extracted valuable lessons, and used that knowledge to refine her approach in future cases.
So it's not about avoiding failure, but about learning from it as quickly as possible and using that knowledge to improve.
Exactly. And the book provides a framework for doing just that. Another powerful strategy the authors emphasize is repeat, repeat, repeat.
That sounds straightforward enough. But how does simple repetition build confidence?
Think about learning to ride a bike or speak a new language. The more you practice, the more comfortable and confident you become. The book illustrates this with the story of Michaela Bellotta, a U.S. Naval Academy graduate. She initially struggled with pull-ups and disliked them intensely. However, through consistent practice, she not only built physical strength, but also developed confidence in her physical capabilities.
So it's about pushing through those initial hurdles and trusting that with consistent effort, we can achieve things we might have thought were beyond our reach.
Absolutely. It's about understanding that mastery and confidence come from consistent effort and a willingness to embrace the learning process, even when it's challenging.
This is making me rethink my approach to so many things, but we're running out of time for this segment. What other confidence-boosting strategies can we look forward to discussing?
We'll delve into more practical tools, including banishing upspeak, a technique for speaking with more authority and ways to challenge negative thoughts and reframe them in a more empowering light.
This is definitely a conversation I don't want to end. We'll be back after a short break to continue exploring the key takeaways from the Confidence Code.
So before the break, we were talking about practical strategies for building confidence. And I think it's important to remember that confidence isn't always about being the loudest voice in the room.
That's an interesting point. We often equate confidence with being assertive and outspoken and right.
It's a common misconception. But the Confidence Code challenges that notion, especially for women. It suggests that sometimes a quieter, more collaborative approach can be just as effective, if not more so.
So it's not about forcing ourselves to fit into a certain mold of what we think confidence should look like. It's about finding a style that feels authentic to us.
Exactly. It's about understanding your strengths and using them to your advantage. And speaking of authenticity, the book also emphasizes the importance of embracing vulnerability.
Now hold on. We've been talking about taking action, pushing past our fears. How does vulnerability fit into the picture?
Think of it this way. True confidence isn't about pretending to be perfect or invincible. It's about acknowledging that you don't have all the answers, that you're still learning and growing.
So it's about being real even when it feels a bit messy.
Yes. And what's surprising is that this authenticity can actually make you more relatable and trustworthy. When you're willing to show your vulnerability, it allows others to connect with you on a deeper level.
That makes sense. No one likes to know it all. But isn't there a risk of appearing weak or incompetent if we show vulnerability?
There's a delicate balance. It's not about dwelling on your insecurities or wallowing in self-doubt. It's about selectively sharing your struggles in a way that builds trust and fosters connection.
So choosing our moments wisely and being strategic about how we express vulnerability, almost like we're letting people in on a secret.
It's about being genuine. Remember, confidence and vulnerability aren't mutually exclusive. In fact, they can complement each other beautifully.
It sounds like finding that sweet spot between being authentic and taking bold action is a bit of a dance.
And the Confidence Code offers some helpful tips for finding your rhythm. One of those tips is to trust your gut.
Trust our gut. But haven't we been trying to avoid overthinking? Aren't those two things in conflict?
Not necessarily. There's a difference between overthinking and tapping into your intuition. Your gut feeling is often based on a combination of past experiences and subconscious processing.
So it's about recognizing that inner voice that's not just fear or self-doubt, but a deeper sense of knowing.
Exactly. One of the authors, Katty, provides a great example of this. She talks about how she used to feel pressure to be super aggressive in her interviews, always going for the gotcha question.
It's like we're conditioned to think we have to be confrontational to be taken seriously.
But Katty realized that approach wasn't authentic to her style, and it actually made her feel less confident. When she started trusting her instincts, asking questions that felt more natural, and engaging her interviews became more insightful and impactful.
So much of this is about letting go of external expectations and tapping into what feels right for us.
It's about discovering your unique style of confidence that aligns with your values and strengths. That's where true confidence comes from.
This is starting to feel incredibly liberating. Confidence isn't about fitting into a predetermined box. It's about embracing your individuality and trusting your internal compass.
And it's about understanding that building confidence is an ongoing journey, not a destination. You're constantly learning, growing, and pushing yourself outside your comfort zone.
So it's not about reaching some mythical state of perfect confidence. It's about embracing the process.
Yes. There's one more point I think is crucial. Confidence is contagious.
Contagious. Like,
Yes.
we can catch confidence from other people.
Exactly. When you see others taking risks, speaking up, and achieving their goals, it inspires you to do the same.
So it's like the confidence of those around us rubs off on us.
In a way, yes. That's why the book stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with positive role models and supportive mentors. People who believe in you and encourage you to push beyond your perceived limitations.
This reminds me of a quote from the Confidence Code that really resonated with me. Confidence is the purity of action produced by a mind free of doubt.
That's a great one. It captures the essence of what we've been talking about. Confidence is about taking action even when you're uncertain, trusting that you have the capacity to learn and adapt along the way.
It's about silencing that inner critic and giving yourself permission to shine.
Exactly. And here's the beautiful part. As you build your own confidence, you inspire others to do the same. It's a ripple effect of empowerment.
I love that imagery. This deep dive has been so insightful. I'm already feeling more equipped to navigate the world with greater confidence. But before we move on, I'd love to hear your thoughts on one more connection the book makes: the link between confidence and happiness.
That's a fascinating point. The author suggests that confidence and happiness are closely intertwined. When you feel confident in yourself, you're more likely to take risks, pursue your passions, and build fulfilling relationships.
So confidence isn't just about achieving success in your career, it's about overall well-being.
Absolutely. The book argues that confidence is a key ingredient for a truly happy and meaningful life.
It makes sense. When you believe in yourself, you're more open to embracing opportunities and creating a life that truly reflects your values.
And it's important to remember that this pursuit of happiness isn't selfish. When you're confident and fulfilled, you're more likely to contribute positively to the world around you.
It's a beautiful cycle. Confidence breeds happiness, and happiness empowers us to make a difference.
Precisely. The Confidence Code highlights how confidence can transform not just your own life, but also the lives of those around you.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey. I'm so grateful for your insights and for sharing your expertise on this book.
My pleasure. And remember, building confidence is a continuous process. It's about taking small steps, celebrating your victories, and learning from your setbacks.
And most importantly, never giving up on yourself.
Couldn't agree more.
This conversation could go on forever, but we are going to have to wrap up this section of our deep dive. We will be back after a short break to continue our exploration of the Confidence Code. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Confidence Code. Before the break, we were talking about how confidence can be contagious and the power of surrounding yourself with supportive people.
And it's important to remember that confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing your imperfections and understanding that we are all works in progress.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the idea that we need to have everything figured out before we can feel truly confident.
The authors of the Confidence Code challenge that notion. They encourage you to embrace the messy, imperfect reality of life.
It's about giving yourself permission to be human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And recognizing that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone on the path to growth and resilience.
That's a great way to reframe it. It takes the pressure off feeling like you need to be perfect all the time.
True confidence comes from knowing that you can handle the challenges that life throws your way. It's about trusting in your ability to adapt, learn, and keep moving forward, even if you stumble along the way.
So how do we cultivate that kind of resilience?
The Confidence Code offers some practical advice, and one of the key strategies is failing fast.
We touched on this earlier, but can you explain what failing fast actually means? Does it mean intentionally making mistakes?
Not quite. It's more about adopting a mindset that embraces experimentation and views setbacks as valuable learning opportunities. You're encouraged to take calculated risks, to try new things, even if there's a chance you might not succeed right away.
So it's about shifting our perspective from fearing failure to seeing it as a necessary part of growth.
Exactly. And the fast part comes in when you allow yourself to learn from those failures quickly and adjust your course as needed. Think back to the example of Beth Wilkinson, the litigator we discussed earlier. She learned a valuable lesson from an early courtroom failure. That experience helped her refine her approach and ultimately become a more effective lawyer.
It's incredible how much we can learn from those moments when things don't go as planned.
Absolutely. The authors argued that this willingness to embrace failure is crucial, especially for women who often tend to be more risk-averse and perfectionistic.
It's like we've been conditioned to avoid making mistakes at all costs.
And the Confidence Code urges you to break free from that limiting belief. Embrace a more growth-oriented mindset.
It's about giving ourselves permission to experiment, learn from mistakes, and keep pushing beyond our comfort zones. But we can't do it alone, right?
You're right. The book emphasizes that this process of building confidence isn't a solo endeavor. We all need a support system, people who believe in us and offer encouragement along the way.
So it all comes back to the power of we.
Exactly. Surround yourself with positive role models, mentors, and peers who can offer guidance, encouragement, and honest feedback.
It's about finding your tribe, the people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self.
And the book offers some really practical tips for cultivating those supportive relationships. One of them is to be proactive in seeking out mentors and role models.
So it's not about waiting for someone to magically appear and offer guidance. It's about taking the initiative to build those connections.
You got it. Identify people you admire, whether it's someone in your field, a friend, or even a public figure. Reach out to them, ask questions, and learn from their experiences.
I love that. It's about taking ownership of your own development and actively seeking out the support you need to thrive.
And remember, confidence is contagious. When you surround yourself with confident people, their energy and belief in you can be incredibly empowering.
It's like we absorb their confidence and start to believe in ourselves more deeply.
The book encourages you to create a confidence circle, a group of supportive individuals who can cheer you on, offer advice, and help you stay accountable to your goals.
This is such a powerful concept. It's about building a community of support that fuels your growth and empowers you to reach your full potential.
And that confidence circle doesn't have to be limited to people in your personal or professional life. You can find inspiration and support from books, podcasts, online communities, and even historical figures.
So it's about being open to sources of confidence wherever we can find them.
Stay curious. Learn from the experiences of others and constantly expand your understanding of what confidence looks like and how it can be cultivated.
This deep dive has been such an incredible exploration of confidence. We've covered so much ground, from the science behind it to practical strategies for building it. As we wrap up, what do you think is the most important takeaway from the Confidence Code?
The most powerful message for me is that confidence isn't a fixed trait. It's a skill that can be learned and developed through consistent effort and practice.
That's so empowering. It means we aren't limited by our genetics or past experiences. We have the power to choose confidence and create a life that reflects that choice.
Exactly. The Confidence Code provides a roadmap for that journey. It's about taking action, embracing failure, challenging negative thoughts, connecting to a larger purpose, and surrounding yourself with supportive people.
It's about believing in yourself even when it feels difficult, and trusting that you have the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacle that comes your way.
Beautifully said. Building confidence is not about reaching some unattainable state of perfection. It's about embracing the process of growth, celebrating your wins, and learning from setbacks along the way.
It's about showing up every day, even when you're feeling scared or uncertain, and taking one small step at a time towards the life you want to create.
The more you practice confidence, the more natural it will become.
I'm so excited to put all of these insights into action. This deep dive has been incredibly inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise and for guiding us through the key takeaways from the Confidence Code.
It's been my pleasure. And to everyone listening, I encourage you to continue exploring the ideas in this book and to share your own experiences with building confidence. You are capable of amazing things.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you all for joining us for this deep dive into the Confidence Code. Until next time, keep living your life up.